Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Building Wealth. Now, I'm your host, Jason Kokenzie, and it is so incredibly good to be here with you guys today. And we've got a fun topic, an interesting topic, and probably a topic that's going to make some of you upset just because maybe of where you're at. This is definitely a episode that is based upon people who are living paycheck to paycheck. And a question I actually asked in our Facebook group, you can go check that out at iteachfreedom.com. But before we get all that stuff today, just want to welcome all of you subscribers. Maybe you are jumping here on YouTube or even our podcast. Hey, if you're not already a subscriber, why not click that subscribe button? And we're getting all that kind of stuff, and whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on the podcast you're listening to it. And make sure you certainly go to iteachfreedom.com to check it out. Today, we had an interesting conversation on I Teach Freedom yesterday, and I basically said something that I had a lot of people like saying, "What do you mean by that?" And so instead of just spilling the beans on the group, I decided to go ahead and give you some information right here, right now, so we can fan it out instead of just texting it through the whole entire conversation. Because ultimately, when all is said and done, text threads sometimes they can get misinterpreted, and so because of that, well, you know the story, right? We want to make sure that we get all the good information that's out here. And this is not, I'm not planning for this to be a big podcast episode today, but you know how that goes. Sometimes, sometimes you get all, in the opportunity of the moment, and it goes wild. So, again, my name is Jason Kokenzie, and I love helping people build wealth now. That's the name of this episode. And so the main concept of this podcast, this YouTube channel, the iteachfreedom.com, is really to help people threefold. Number one is to help people build online business. There's a lot of people who always want to know, I want to be an online business, but they don't know what to do or what to look for. And that's what I Teach Freedom is all about. We show many opportunities that are out there in the world of online business to not only know what they are, but actually to what to look for. And so that's an important thing for people to understand. There's a lot of courses out there. There's a lot of people out there saying that they're gurus and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is they just want you to buy their courses. And I'm sure you just don't want to go spend a bunch of courses so that you have to buy course 2 to buy course 3 to buy course 4. You'll find out here that there's no courses. I'm not trying to get your money. I'm just going to tell you exactly what it is, how to look for it. So the first thing is to teach online business. The second thing is also modern finances and economy, and the way that the world looks like right now in 2021, February 10th, 2021. That's the kind of idea. We want to teach about modern economy, modern finances. And so all the online businesses that I want to focus on are residual income businesses. And that's an important thing. Residual income is king. It is way better than cash because residual income is something that gives cash flow monthly. And so you can only have so much cash, but if you have cash flow, well, I mean, I guess you have infinite amounts of cash, but cash flow is way better than cash. Let me just tell you that. So we want to teach you about modern economy, what that looks like, maybe modern trends in economy. We talk about that kind of stuff. And then finally, also mindset. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to change some things in the way that you think, because the mindset is a difficult thing to crack. And as an entrepreneur, often it's a very lonely game. It's a very, very lonely game, but super rewarding. And if you can conquer that mindset, it's pretty cool. So today we're going to talk about mindset, and we're also going to talk about modern economy. And so yesterday I specifically said, and by the way, I'm going to say this little thing here, but I'm going to say this is really open up for everybody. And that is this. I said yesterday on our iteachfreedom.com, if you haven't gone there, go there. But the thing is, I said, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, I want to teach you something that should really help you out. And that's all I left it at. And then I said this: money gets bored. Money gets bored. And I had a lot of people say, I'm listening. I hear you. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying, but I'm listening. And so it's an important thing to understand. And this is a large part, honestly, why a lot of people struggle financially. A lot of people struggle paycheck to paycheck because they don't understand this concept of money getting bored. And so if you don't understand the concept, I'm assuming you're very possibly one of those people that lives paycheck to paycheck. Now, with that being said, this is also something that even people who don't live paycheck to paycheck can still learn lessons from. I know because I'm guilty of it. And so I just encourage you to listen to this episode to understand that mindset and modern economy, if you have a bad mindset and you live paycheck to paycheck, you're going to struggle in the modern economy. And so here's the thing, money gets bored. Well, I'm just going to pause and say, what do you think by what I mean when money gets bored, right? What do you mean by when I say money gets bored? And here's the thing, right? Money gets bored ultimately means that if you just have money sitting around, eventually it gets bored and it feels like it's going to have to go do something. And so a lot of times, especially for the people who live paycheck to paycheck, what that typically looks like is it's something like buying a $5 Starbucks drink today. Oh, I've got extra cash. I got extra profit that I haven't spent this day. And so because of that, I'm going to go buy a Starbucks. Oh, I've got a little, hey, I found $20 in my pants pocket that I forgot about. Let's go get another Starbucks. Okay. Well, here's the thing. What if you took that Starbucks, which by the way, I hate Starbucks, but just as a side point, what if you take that $5 that you're going to go spend at Starbucks, instead of letting it get it bored with a frivolous attempt, actually invest it. So let me just give you, let's just say you took that $5 and you went and spent $5 every single day for the next 365 days at Starbucks, which I know for some of you, that actually is legitimate stress because you legitimately go to Starbucks maybe every day or quite often. But let's just say you did the full 365. You went to Starbucks, you spent $5, guys. That is $1,825 that you that you could have invested instead. And I don't care what the vehicle of investment would be. Okay. But let's just say you decided to invest that money instead. And let's just say you get a measly 5% return. Not a huge return, but let's say you get a 5% return. That $1,825 would now be $1,916.25. So there are some pretty awesome things to do with that. But let's just say you take the typical 12.5 that mutual funds historically give. And I'm going to put that in air quotes. Sorry for those of you on the podcast, you can't see that, but I'm doing some air quotes out there. Historically, over the last 50 years, I'm going to tag Dave Ramsey in that little conversation piece right there. But historically, 12.5%. Well, now you've made an additional $228 on top of that world of things. Okay. So 1,825 plus an additional 228, right? So you're looking at over $2,000 that you now have that you didn't waste. You're saying, well, let's just go one step further. Let's just say you're one of those people who actually discipline yourself and you actually find a vehicle of investment that gets 20%. And so that gives you an additional $365. So at 20%, for that $5 you save every day, you earn $1 extra a day. Now, that's $5 a day. For the next 365 days, you're getting basically, right, $365 extra. Now, are you able? So again, let's just do for the sake of the math so that you can understand. 5 times 30. And I'm using a calculator just so I don't say stupid numbers here. 5 times 30 is $150 a month. The question for you is, do you have $150 a month to save and invest? Now, the word save is not the word I want to use. Let's just put it this way. $5 every day, $150 a month that you can discipline yourself to invest. And I'm assuming that even a lot of you paycheck to paycheck people have more money than just $150 a month. I believe that probably the majority of you don't really live paycheck to paycheck because you just don't have enough money at the end of the month, but you live paycheck to paycheck because you let your money get bored and you go spend it on frivolous things. And that's an important thing to be learned. Money does get bored. It gets bored for people who are running paycheck to paycheck, and it also gets people who don't live paycheck to paycheck. I have numerous people that I know that make a really awesome six-figure income. I know a guy right now, I'm going to try to keep it as vague as possible. He makes about $750,000 a year. But here's the thing. He makes $750,000 a year and he's still broke and he still can't retire, even though he's at that retirement age. You're saying, well, what's the deal? Because he has really nice toys that he wastes every last red cent on. And so he, in a sense, is just as poor as the paycheck to paycheck person, because in all reality, even though his income may be substantially higher than yours, he still lives paycheck to paycheck. His paycheck to paycheck just looks a little bit different because he has a nice house, he has a nice vehicle, he has a nice fill in the blank, because he tends to spend every last red cent every single month because his money gets bored, and it gets bored in just the same way your money gets bored. It's just his money gets bored on nicer things. But he's still not going to be able to retire, and that's an important thing for all of you to understand. Him, by the way, he's still working right now, even though he's at retirement age. So guys, if you're not willing to invest, invest that money that's just sitting there, that you typically spend it on frivolous things, you're going to be in that same situation. Now, this investment can be in multiple different avenues. Obviously, here, I like investing that money a lot on online businesses. I also like investing it in other vehicles, such as real estate. I do like investing in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cryptocurrencies, and things like that. We've had those conversations on here before. And I'm not just saying go willy-nilly on the things that you invest. You shouldn't just go invest in something unless you have a general idea or an understanding of it before you lose all of that money too. Because if you're going to go waste your money at Starbucks or just go throw your money on an investment that you really don't know what that investment's doing, you might as well just go get the $5 Starbucks. But if you take some time and actually study out what it is that you're going to do with that $5 a day or $10 or $15 or $20 that you might have per day to invest, then maybe, just maybe, you're able to do some really awesome things and maximize and increase. Now, let's just say, for the sake of, let's say it's a little bit more fluid of a conversation, maybe you're doing some peer-to-peer lending. Maybe you are doing some real estate investment trust where you get paid monthly on that residual income. Maybe you get some online business that you're doing. Well, make sure that you're not just taking the profits from those investments and go getting bored with that cash either. Make sure you're taking those investments and you're reinvesting back in another vehicle of operation to get more money back. So let's say you have $150. I hope that you take the profit from that $150. Let's say this month you make $20 more on your investment, so you get $20 of return. We'll go take that $20 and split it up and make multiple other investments. Now, there's a large story I could say about all these things and different ways to look at this type of stuff. But ultimately, when all is said and done, guys, I want to encourage you not to let your money get bored. Most of you, I get this conversation all the time. You struggle with paycheck to paycheck, and you say things such as this. You say things, I can't invest because if I fail, that's going to put my family in a really bad position. But what you don't understand and you're not realizing is that you've put yourself in a bad situation because you're letting your money get bored and you're going buying things like $5 Starbucks. Now, I know I've been harping on $5 Starbucks. It's probably, maybe, something different for you. Maybe it is going out to eat all the time. Now, I am guilty. That if you want to say money gets bored, for me, that's probably where it's at. I love going out to eat. I'm a huge foodie. I love trying new restaurants. We try restaurants all the time. I'm not even going to tell you how much money I spend per year on going out to eat, but it's ridiculous, okay? Let me just put it that way. Here's the thing. That's my discipline issue. Now, for those of you who live paycheck to paycheck, you've got to learn how to discipline your life. This is a mindset issue. And so if you're saying, well, I live paycheck to paycheck, and if I go invest and I lose that money, then I'm really going to put my family in a bad situation. I've got kids, Jason. Don't you understand? Yeah, I do, because I have kids too. I have 4 kids. I have a family of 6. And so ultimately, when all is said and done, you're putting yourself in a bad situation because you allow your money to get bored with other things. So instead of investing in your family, by taking that income and putting it in a smart vehicle of investment, again, online business. I'm going to encourage you with that. Online business, online business, online business, online business. If you listen to my last episode of this podcast, I said to you, every single one of my businesses, which right now I have 7 online companies, every single one of my businesses, I have started for $1,500 or less. And I'm just going to be very honest with you. The majority of them has been definitely less, about $700 or less. So I want you to think from that perspective in taking these next steps in your life. How many months is it going to take you to save up $700? Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you stop going to Starbucks, if you stop going to restaurants, it might be only a couple months. But some of you use this excuse that if I lose that $700, well, don't lose the $700. Don't lose the $700. And what I mean by that is if you're motivated enough, you're going to make whatever investment vehicle that you found, whether if it's online business, other types of investment, you're going to make it work. And that's what sets apart the 99% to the 1% who are successful in business, is that 1% make it work. They don't make excuses, they make it work. So I want to encourage you, take your budget. You're saying, I don't have a budget. Well, there's your first problem. You don't know where your money's going, and so therefore your money gets bored before you even know where it's gone because you don't have a budget of what it's doing. And so the very first thing I want you to do is to be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself and make a budget and make sure you list everything. My recommendation is go get a bank statement of the last month or 2 and figure out where your money's actually going. I think sometimes you're going to be surprised of where that money actually goes. And so the next thing I'm going to say is after you take that budget, the next question you ask yourself is, Jason, where is it that I'm spending this most money? That's the money gets bored money. Is it Starbucks? Is it a restaurant? Is it fill in the blank? Then I want you to do yourself a favor. For the next 6 months, I want you to take that money and discipline yourself not to go to those places. Instead, take that money for the next 6 months and invest it into a vehicle of return, such as an online business. And so with that being said, I promise you, I guarantee you, I'm going to be careful with saying I guarantee, because some of you people are going to come back all mad at me. Well, so I'm going to say, if you are taking the time to discipline yourself and educate yourself in that vehicle investment, and most importantly, put action into it, you're going to be a much different place here in 6 months, and a much better place in 6 months, because you're willing to take the money that was getting bored and actually making it productive for you. Now, my encouragement, I would say definitely focus on the online business world, because that is going to be the best and biggest return of investment for you. Guys, my name is Jason Kokenzie. Go check I Teach Freedom out. Hey, if you like this episode, if you learned, if you were encouraged, if you're thinking different, can you do me a favor? Click that subscribe button, whether it's on the podcast or YouTube, or do me a favor, do it on both. Go check out iteachfreedom.com. Again, Jason Kokenzie signing off, and we'll catch you up on the next episode.